Hello, and welcome to our elementary project-based learning opportunity. This is the final concluding presentations for what's been a 7-week learning experience for our students. At GCS, we strive to build learning opportunities into the curriculum that develop leaders, thinkers, and innovators. And the project-based learning not only allows us to build these skills and build these attributes, but it also allows us to give the students context for their learning as we show them ways that their learning can be directly affecting their community. This year, our grade 6 class was tasked with finding or creating environmentally conscious alternatives to takeout containers. This task was tied to many island initiatives that are going on, initiatives such as the plastic bag ban that is going into place, where products are being looked at for the effect that they're having on our island environment and the effect that that's also going to have on our way of living. And so we've been looking at ways to minimize the use of single-use plastics and other polluting materials. Students have been working on research throughout all of their classes, and their search to find the best alternatives also included going out into the community. We were blessed to have opportunities to speak with restaurateurs and chefs to learn about their perspective and their needs as we look at building these alternatives as well. Throughout this project, we've also had a biblical focus. We were constantly looking at what the Bible says in regards to ethics and stewardship of our earth. We realize that we need to balance this to make this a feasible alternative that will actually be used in the industry. And this has been the real challenge that our students have faced, is what can we create or what can we find that fits not only our responsibility of taking care of the earth, but also fits the reality of this is an industry that needs to make money and needs to provide wages for those who are living around us. And so I would encourage you to sit back, enjoy these presentations. I know the students have worked hard throughout, and I'm also confident that they will be able to offer not only creative opportunities and alternatives that would help our environment, but also ones that have been critically researched and have been found feasible within the industry as well. Thank you.
There's nothing that says Prince Edward Island more than a good feast of potatoes and seafood. Hi, my name is Evan McNeil, and I am the CEO of our PEI-based company, Green Legacy Utensils. These are my colleagues, Helen, Kate, and Cody.
At Green Legacy Utensils, we believe that we all can play a role in helping our island remain beautiful and continue to grow in all sectors of our economy, and from the land to the sea.
We also believe that we have a God-given responsibility to take care of God's creation. According to Genesis 1:26, then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image and our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground."
Genesis 1:28 says, "And God blessed them. God said to them, 'Be fruitful and multiply the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves along the earth.'"
We also know that Proverbs 12:10 says, "The righteous care for their needs of the animals, but the kindest acts of the wicked are cruel."
We have authority over God's creation. Psalm 8:6-8 states, "You made them ruler over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet, all flocks and herds, and the animal of the wild, the birds in the sky, and the fish in the sea, all that swim the paths of the seas."
We believe that humans do have a God-given responsibility to take care of creations. God has put us in charge of all His creations.
When God gives us authority, even when we don't deserve it, we should use it in a right and respectful way as an act of worshiping Him.
At Green Legacy Utensils, we have taken steps to leave a legacy of caring for God's creation and protecting the animals that He has given us authority over.
Today we are here to tell you our story about how one environmentally friendly solution we found can change the takeout industry of PEI and make an impact in reducing plastic pollution in the oceans while supporting the local farmers.
As an islander with family connections to the PEI fishing industry, I have always been aware of how important it is as a primary and secondary sector of our economy, much like our agriculture industry. This means that it provides by harvesting natural resources and then manufacturing them. While the trends in employment on PEI have moved more into the tertiary sector of our economy throughout the past 100 years, the value of the PEI fishing industry still exceeds $648 million and employs as many as 8,000 people each year.
The Department of Fisheries and Ocean Canada reports that the total amount of money made by the commercial sea and freshwater fishery was $3.8 million. With of this total, the Atlantic region made $3.4 million.
The Atlantic region also produced an additional $368,653 in the aquaculture industry. Prince Edward Island was the main producing provincial for mussels, making a total of $36,143.
In 2017, the number of island commercial fishermen totaled 4,151. After hearing some of their stories about the waste they have seen in the oceans, we look more closely into the problem.
Global production of plastic has increased from 2 million tons in 1950 to 380 million tons in 2015. Scientists have calculated if people do not change their habits of throwing plastic into the ocean, by 2050 there will be more plastic than sea animals in the ocean. Nous devons mettre moins des plastiques dans l'océan. Les plastiques dans l'océan font mal des animaux marins.
Canada only recycles 11% of plastic waste each year. That is not very much.
Even though Canada encourages recycling, 80% of the styrofoam ends up in Canada's landfills, and it's enough to fill 208 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Studies have proven that 90% of seabirds have plastic in their stomach. Les plastiques dans l'océan font mal des animaux marins.
And if that isn't enough to describe the problem, marine litter is hurting more than 800 species worldwide, with over 100,000 sea creatures dying every year.
With plastic being the most common waste found in the ocean, Green Legacy Utensils feel that it is important to educate people on the life cycle of plastic. Du plastique se retrouve dans l'océan à cause du plastique des mers importés. Plastic begins with two reactions, oil and water. These create polymer chains that create hard plastic pellets that are melted down and molded into the plastic shapes in the products we use.
After the plastic is sold and used, one of three things would happen. 1. The best solution is plastic is recycled and made into other plastic things. 2. The plastic ends up in the landfill where the rainwater absorbs the plastic toxins, which affects our groundwater stream, ponds, and wildlife.
Nous pouvons ramasser des restes du plastique et les envoyer à un endroit où il peut être recyclé. Nous pouvons utiliser des sacs poubelles réutilisables.
Certains des autres plastiques qui sont dans l'océan, c'est parce que le plastique sur la plage. Nous pouvons faire moins de déchets en utilisant moins de plastique.
Thirdly, and worst of all, the plastic ends up in our oceans where it can collect in garbage pools. Fish eats the plastic because they mistake it for food. These fish are eaten by other fish, who are eaten by larger fish, that we ends up eating ourselves. This means the plastic toxins ends up in our body causing serious illnesses.
As a group, we join others looking for solutions for takeout restaurants on PEI. We were assigned the task of finding environmentally friendly options for cutlery. To inform our decision, we conducted a short survey with consumers to get their thoughts and opinions on a few things.
We began by asking consumers the following questions. How often do you get takeout food each week? Approximately 88% said they ate takeout food up to twice a week.
To help us understand how much they think about the environment, we asked them which of the following statements best describe them. 60% said that some of their purchases were environmentally friendly, and 17% said most of their purchases were environmentally friendly. The surprising stat was the 15% who said they rarely think about how their purchases affect the environment.
One of our suggested solutions was starting a new trend of travel cutlery kits that consumers can purchase online for about $12 to $20. To test the consumers' thoughts, we asked them if they would be willing to take their own containers and supplies to takeout restaurant. 57% said they would take their own supplies. An additional 21% said they would take them for a discount. 20% said they would not take their own supplies. A 20% loss of sale would affect restaurants, so this is not the best option.
We also asked people if they would pay more for environmentally friendly supplies. 32% said they would pay more, but 58% said it would depend on how much money they would need to spend. 90% people agreed that they would pay 10 cents to 25 cents more, with 43% being willing to pay up to 75 cents more. Only 11% would not support any increase in price.
From here, we looked into 4 environmentally friendly products on the market to determine the best possible solution for PEI restaurants and the selection of foods they serve. We determined the physical and chemical properties of each and calculated the unit price to help us make an informed decision.
The first product used recyclable plastics from consumers to make new forks, knives, and spoons. Chemical properties: non-toxic, non-radioactive. Physical properties: block made from 100% recycled polystyrene, suitable for hot and cold food, and the unit price is 6 cents.
The next product was a wood-based product from forests that are continually replanted with new trees to replace those that are used to make the cutlery. It was the Eco-Gecko cutlery. The chemical properties for it was compostable, biodegradable, it was non-toxic, and it was flammable. The physical properties are: it was made from high-quality birchwood from reharvested plantation forests. It does not split or splinter easily. It was suitable for hot and cold food, and it had no coating waxes or chemical additives. And the unit price was 6 cents.
The next product used corn to make plastic. It was biodegradable, compostable, non-toxic, non-radioactive, lots of color and styles, standard size, made from corn plastic for hot and cold food up to 200 degrees.
Finally, we landed on Spudware, and from here we knew we had the best PEI-based solution. It was biodegradable, compostable, non-toxic, non-radioactive, had no reaction with water, it could be washed and used again. It was made from vegetable starch, which was 80% potato starch and 20% soy oil. It was cold and heat resistant, sleek and sturdy, and had its natural beige color. Not only did this current product fall within the consumer's budget, it also opened the door for the PEI agriculture industry to grow as well. Green Legacy Utensils have worked with island potato producers to collect the potatoes with slight imperfections that have not been sold in stores or to factories. We use these potatoes to produce potato starch that are used in combination with soy oil to make a PEI version of Spudware.
It is time to say goodbye to the single-use plastic cutlery, that is simply adding to the pool of pollution.
Nous devons aider la terre montante pour se débarrasser de la pollution plastique dans nos océans.
Si nous ne faisons pas réduire la quantité de plastique que nous utilisons, il va empoisonner les animaux marins.
It's time for island restaurants to support local fishermen and farmers with their choice for cutlery.
It's time to honor God with our environmentally friendly choices.
And it's time to leave a long-lasting legacy for the next generation.
Thank you for listening.
Hello, we're from Recostable. We believe that our ocean will soon be filled with plastic trash if we do not take steps to help reduce the amount of plastic in the oceans. But first, let us give you a presentation on why we believe plastic trash should be reduced and what tasks we are assigned to do to help.
In this present world, we live a very comfortable lifestyle. People around the world purchase a variety of plastic products that help our lives become more easier and more comfortable.
But do you really think about the impact we create just by throwing away our plastic trash?
Well, we were given the assignment to help find an alternative solution for plastic takeout containers. And turns out about 14 billion pounds of garbage enters the ocean each year, most of that being plastic. And according to Plymouth University, plastic pollution affects at least 700 marine species, while some estimates say that at least 100 million marine animals are killed each year from plastic pollution.
With plastic down the ocean, follow plume.
And according to the Washington Post, by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish.
Nous faisons moins les plastiques dans l'océan.
Our actions are killing hundreds of marine animals.
Les plastiques dans l'océan tuent les animaux marins.
Do you really think this is what God wants us to do? Well, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He is the creator and decides what to do with it. He chose to give it to us, and it says so in Psalm 8:6-8. From the beginning, humankind sinned, and though it might be no surprise, we think about only our income and not what harm we are doing to nature. In Genesis 1:26, God gave us authority, and we must take the challenge and responsibility to provide for all of His creations.
Another consequence this is doing to our environment is how it is harming our ocean. Fishery on island are very important, and according to the Department of Fishery and Ocean Canada, the Atlantic region produces a majority of the fish in Canada compared to the Pacific and inland fishery. And without fishery industry, our secondary and tertiary region will also be affected. If there's no food for the others to package and sell, our economy will be impacted in a negative way.
This problem is very serious as it may affect our economy severely. Number one, fishing in the Atlantic region is a very good source of gaining money. According to the Department of Fisheries and Oceans Canada, 2018, the Atlantic region brought in $3.4 million of the $3.8 million for fishing in all of Canada. The Atlantic region also has the majority of aquaculture establishments, coming in at 539 establishments. That means that there are about 30,300 to 45,450 people who are employed in the Atlantic region for the fishing industry. On the island, fisheries are important, and what we are doing is not helping reduce plastic. It even says so in the scripture. God says that in Psalm 147, 8-9, God has created ways to tend to His creations and animals. He feeds the animals, provides rain for the crops, and covers the sky with clouds. So why should we not be responsible after God trusted us to rule this earth? Regardless, plastic pollution is a very big problem on the island. After much research, we started to find different alternative products. As you said before, we were assigned to the task to find an alternative for plastic takeout products.
But before we do so, we had to learn about the life cycles plastic grow through.
So, to sum it up for you, all the bottles start in a factory. They get formed by chemically bonded oil and gas molecules. These form long chains called polymers.
These polymers turn into plastic pellets, which are heated, melted, and molded into various plastic shapes. Then, machines fill them with liquid, wrap them in labels, and ship them into various locations.
Once used, they are thrown out. The first bottle ends up in landfills and dumps. The bottles are compressed down from the weight of all the garbage. Rainwater flows in and absorbs the water-soluble molecules from the plastic. Most of these are poison or toxic.
Together, this creates leachate, which will move the groundwater, soil, and streams. And it takes 1,000 years for a plastic bottle to break down. This affects the wildlife and the sea life.
Bottle number 2 floats on a trickle that leads to a stream. Then it floats into a river. After that, into the ocean, and finally into a massive garbage vortex. Les plastiques entrent dans l'eau quand il est transporté par les rivières. Les plastiques vont dans l'océan quand nous les jetons dans l'eau. And with the tides of the ocean, a cloudy plastic liquid forms in the sea.
Some animals like seabird and other like fish that tangle in plastic get scavenged for food. They feel full, but because of the non-nutritional food, they die.
Toxins go up the food chain, which leads to us. Most plastics do not biodegrade, so they break down into microplastics. Did you know scientists have found 114 species of fish, and more than half of them have consumed plastic? Finally, bottle number 3 is recycled and broken down into raw materials to form new types of things and reused over and over again. And in Canada, less than 11% of our plastic waste actually gets recycled.
Now, before we got started to find the right container, we have to ask the public some questions. So we decided to put some questions in a survey. One of the most important questions were, how many times do you eat takeout food each week? 88% consume takeout food each week 2 or more times. This means our product has to be something that can be made quick and have large quantities.
We also asked them if they know what their takeout containers are made of. And astonishingly, 33% said no. This is not showing responsibility. In Proverbs 12:10 says that good people care and evil are cruel. If you're not being open-minded about our environment, how are you being a helpful, good person?
Moving on to our container, we found 8 possible alternative containers. Now each one has different chemical and physical properties. Now, they also vary in different prices. Once we are asked the question, would you pay more for environmentally friendly takeout containers? 90% said yes, they would.
We followed up this question with how much more would you be willing to spend on eco-friendly takeout containers? It turns out 89% of the people would pay up to 25 cents or more for eco-friendly containers. Now, let us get started with our product choices. We had many choices, but we will be explaining the top 5.
We choose the Go Box. The Go Box is a durable and strong plastic container that made from PBA-free number 5 plastic. You could download the app for $91.95 per year or monthly $3.95. You order and eat, and when done, you locate a nearby drop site and return the container to a GoBox ecosystem using the app. The GoBox team collects, clean, and sanitize the container so the cycle can repeat again and again.
Our second product is the Green Munch Hinge Sugarcane Clamshell. It's biodegradable, made from sugarcane and recycled materials. It's fully compostable and it's flammable. It is also microwave safe, freezer safe, heat safe. It can handle liquid for a while, and its demonstrations are 9-inch by 6-inch. It also comes with a lid and many different sizes. Each small container costs 54 cents, and each big container costs 64 cents.
Our third item is the compostable soup container. It is compostable, made from plants, can hold hot and cold food, flammable, and it comes with a separate lid, each less than 11 cents.
The separate lid costs less than 16 cents each. It is compostable, renewable, and biodegradable. In total, the lid and the container costs 27 cents.
Our fourth product is the biodegradable natural fiber container. It is renewable, compostable, petroleum-free, gluten-free, can be frozen. It's made of unbleached silver grass, which is miscanthus plant fiber. It is also microwave safe, a classic design, comes with a lid, it holds heat, and its measurements are 6 inches by 6 inches. This is our best product choice as it comes with a lid, is very cheap, and is eco-friendly. The fifth is the New Wave Enviro stainless steel food container. It costs $15.78 each. It is stainless steel, reusable, non-toxic, and non-toxicable. In one of the graphs, under 80% of the people were going to bring their own reusable containers for a discount. Even though a majority of them bring their own container, the cost is very high for them, as shown in the other graphs.
So our final choice was the fourth item, the biodegradable natural fiber container. The reasons for this is that it's eco-friendly, cheap, and comes with a lid. It's also microwave safe, a classic design, classic size, it holds heat, and it's gluten-free.
In conclusion, we think that this product is perfect as it fits with what the society wants, such as being under the price point, will not affect the restaurant industries, and being eco-friendly. We also believe that we have the responsibility to take care of nature, and to what it looks like, it does not seem we are doing such a great job. We have proof that in the Bible, God does give us responsibility, so why are we not obeying? 100 million marine animals are dying each year because of our actions. We need to stop and start being more responsible. À côté de ça, faut acheter quelque chose.
Toujours mettre vos débris dans les bonnes correctes.
Utilisez moins de plastique tous les jours. En fin de compte, la mode va très propre quand nous arrêtons d'utiliser le plastique.
Nous allons aussi aider au groupe les places dans animaux en ocean.
Thank you for listening.
Any questions?
Take that off.
Hello, we are
H2 Eco,
and what are we doing?
saving the world one cup at a time. We design eco-friendly cup to keep our environment clean.
We believe that a little thing in life can change the world. For example, our cups, it's such a small thing that can make such a big difference in the environment. It starts with our eco-friendly, innovative designs.
We have crafted 3 products, all made out of different materials. First is our double-walled bamboo cup. It is made of 100% bamboo fibers to ensure that it will naturally decompose and is biodegradable. With the rock bottom price of 4 cents, you're saving money and saving the environment all at once.
Second is our sugarcane cups, also made out of 100% sugarcane fibers. It will oxidize and it is biodegradable. To suit both of our customer needs, we sell both cold and hot cups at a tiny price of 7 cents per cup.
Last but not least is our innovative compostable cups. They are disposable, compostable, biodegradable, and of course, eco-friendly. It is made out of potato starch, cornstarch, and cellulose. Material mainly made of plant cell walls. Because it is easy access to support to PI farmers and low price of 5 cents, it is the best choice.
Out of all our products, the best alternative for plastic would be our bamboo cups, due to the easy access, low price, and large quantity availability.
These complex cups didn't design themselves. Before coming out with the final blueprints, we did research, and we began by asking the following questions.
First, we asked them, how often do you actually purchase takeout food? 87.7% from our survey said they ordered takeout 0 to 2 times a week. And 12.3% said they ordered takeout 3 to 5 times a week.
How often do you get beverages in containers takeout restaurant per week? Assessed into our survey, 65.2% said 0 to 2 times a week. 28.3% said 3 to 5 times a week, and 6.5% said 6 plus a week.
Sir, do you know what your takeout containers you order are made out of? 32.6% said no, and 67.4% said yes.
Fourth, we asked them if they'd be willing to bring their own reusable containers to a restaurant to get takeout food. 57.3% said yes, 21.7% said no, and 21% said only if it's for a discount.
We then asked them if they would be willing to pay more for environmentally friendly takeout containers. 31.9% of them said yes, 10.1% of them said no, and 58% of them said it depends on how much more.
As a follow-up question, we asked them just how much they'd be willing to pay. According to the survey, 10.9% said no extra expenses would be made. 47.1% said 10 cents to 25 cents. 28.3% said 50 cents to 75 cents. And finally, 13.7% said they'd be willing to pay more than $1.
We asked to all the people that did our survey, which of the following statement best describe you? No one choose I only purchase environmentally friendly products. 17.4% choose most of my purchases are environmentally friendly, and 60.1% choose some of my purchases are environmentally friendly. 7% said they buy environmentally friendly product only when it's on sale. 15.2% said they rarely consider how their purchases affects the environment.
After gathering this data, we had a better vision of the society's standpoint on plastic pollution and what they would do to decrease it.
Right about now, you're probably wondering, so just have you dedicate your company to make eco-friendly cups? Well, great question.
Because of plastic pollution.
Plastic pollution affects everything and everyone. Our water, our food, our oceans, our animals, and our plants. How much longer will we allow this to continue? Plastique est mal pour l'environnement.
Plastic is a material that takes hundreds or even thousands of years to decompose, and because it is filled with toxic pollutants, it causes long-term damage to the environment, wildlife, and wildlife habitats.
The animals that are affected most by plastic pollution are marine animals, especially sea lion, sea seals, seabirds, and sea turtles.
Les plastiques dans l'océan tuent des animaux marins.
Plastic bags and cutlery are harming animals most frequent. It is because there is mistaken for food.
Quand les animaux boivent les plastiques, ils mangent comme nourriture.
And 1.1 million animals are killed due to plastic each year.
But there is no coincidence.
In Canada, only 11% of plastic is recycled.
Which means nearly 90% of it ends up in landfills, incinerators, or the environment.
Il faut l'eau ne saigne pas de bois.
Pollution plastique est mauvais pour les animaux et c'est aussi mauvais pour nous aussi.
As you all know, plastic is one of the environment's worst enemies. It pollutes lakes, oceans, rivers, and land. Let's take a look up to the journey at this point.
Every plastic bottle starts with oil and gas in a factory, just like this one.
Gas and oil combine the chemical reaction, which create polymers.
More polymers join together, creating plastic pellets.
The plastic pellets are then melted and molded into various plastic shapes, just like this one.
The plastic bottle is then filled with liquid, wrapped, labeled, and internationally shipped to stores.
The water bottle is then sold, consumed by the customer, and thrown away on the ground, left to harm the environment. This brings us back to a very valuable point: plastic pollution and its biblical perspective.
When we found this company, we didn't just do it to make a profit. It is written in the Bible that God gave us authority to over the animals and the environment.
Psalms 8:6-8 said, when God made us, he put animals and environment in our authority.
Genesis 1:26 also says, Then God said, Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. This verse is talking about how God created us in his own image, so that we may rule with good authority.
Matthew 6:26 says, Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? This verse is saying that if God loves and cares for the animals so much, imagine how much he loves and cares for us.
The righteous care for the needs of their animals, but the kindest act of the wicked are cruel. Proverbs 12:10. This verse is saying that godly people who care for their animals that are dependent on them and love God are righteous, but those who are cruel to animals and turn away from God are wicked.
As Christians, if we see that will beached, we must take full credit for it because God gives us
Responsibility. As you can see, God did put animals, plants, and the environment in our authority, and it is our responsibility to take care of them.
We mentioned that the plastic pollution affects a variety of things, but one thing we didn't mention was the fisheries.
The fisheries are in the primary sector of the economy. They collect natural resources, in this case fish. The fish is then shipped and processed. These are secondary sector of the economy. Finally, the tertiary sector of the economy is the distributors. For example, they are the people that distribute the product to customers.
Now that we have covered the primary, secondary, and tertiary sector of the economy, we note that the fishery are the roots of the economy.
And just like a tree, without roots it will fall over, or in this case, the primary sector of the economy. The economy will collapse. Here are some stats of their recent success. The Atlantic regional fisheries caught 641,392 metric tons of worth of fish, adding up to making $2.92 million, more than the inland and Pacific combined in 2018.
The agriculture of Canada made $1.4 million in 2017, with Atlantic co-capturing $316,000 in 2017.
Out of the 616,944 fish landed by the Atlantic, only 27,345 were kept.
There are some states of specific kinds of fish caught as well as the quantity they came in.
The Atlantic region caught 136,545 metric tons of pelagics in 2017.
The Atlantic region caught 93,866 metric tons of groundfish in 2017.
During 2017, PEI caught 24,448 metric tons of mussels.
The Atlantic region caught 394,292 metric tons of shellfish in 2017.
The Atlantic region caught 16,689 metric tons of crustaceans in all. The Atlantic region caught 641,392 metric tons of seafood gathered up altogether.
As you can see, being a primary sector of the economy, there is a lot of weight on their shoulders. When plastic pollution pollutes the ocean, that is interrupting the fisheries, slowing down business.
The fisheries are heavily affected due to plastic pollution.
The conclusion: plastic is affect everything and everyone, and only we can stop it.
Il est la fabrication, l'homme est pas, sans le bois.
You can start by buying eco-friendly products such as ours to ensure that we keep our environment clean. Nous pouvons opter de briser du plastique par de la litière.
Nous pouvons utiliser une bouteille d'eau plusieurs fois.
Remember, we are saving the world one cup at a time.
I hope after listening to this presentation, you would have a better view of plastic pollution and its consequences.
Thank you for listening.
My name is Justin, and these are my colleagues from Hypergreen Products. This is Jaden, and this is Lennox.
We are a company that believes in cost-effective solutions for reducing restaurant waste pollution, supporting our local fisheries, and implementing innovative solutions based on science. We also believe that we have been told by God to take care of our environment and all the creatures in it.
So how important is the PEI fishing industry? Did you know that PEI produces 71% of North America's mussels? Without these mussels, the Canadian and island fisheries would be affected. We have to reduce pollution in our oceans to protect the mussels.
Canada's Atlantic region produced 3.4 billion of Canada's 3.8 billion made from fish. This included lobster, tuna, salmon, mussels, and snow crab, to name a few.
There are 4,151 commercial fishermen in PEI. It is a primary industry that supplies secondary industry workers with employment. That means it is a resource that is harvested from the ocean and then taken to the factories where workers process it and ship it to the customers.
In Canada, salmon is worth $1 billion, many of which are caught in PEI in the Atlantic region.
It is no surprise then that the PEI fishing industry is important and needs to be protected. Without this primary industry, our economy would not survive, and islanders would be without employment. All sectors of the economy would be affected.
By 2050, there will be more plastic than the amount of fish in the ocean.
There is about 100,000 marine animals dying each year, and 1 million seabirds which die from plastic. This has to stop, because that includes the fish in the ocean too.
Scientists say that about 8 million metric tons of plastic are being dumped into the ocean each year. Do you know how much weight that really is? The equivalent of nearly 90 aircraft carriers.
Marine litter is hurting more than 800 species of sea animals worldwide, because only about 11% of plastic is recycled in Canada.
There's plastic in the water that we drink, which could potentially give us spine cancer.
The plastic we find in our oceans comes from many places, including the restaurant industry. We have to make changes today because the problem is only getting bigger.
According to Genesis 1:26-27, God put us in charge of all animals, meaning that we need to protect them and their habitats. Once again, that includes the sea life in our ocean.
In Proverbs 12:10, it says that righteous people would take care of animals, but the wicked are cruel to animals.
According to Psalm 147, 8-9, God provides for everything, including the crops that we feed on, and the cattle that we feed on too. He also provides us with the fish to eat, but do we really want to eat fish that have been poisoned due to pollution?
God put us in charge, He takes care of animals, and said that being righteous requires you to take care of animals too.
That's why Hypergreen Products has signed on to help restaurants find environmentally friendly straws and lids. We will reduce pollution and help our fisheries at the same time. It may seem like a small step to reduce pollution, but we have to start somewhere. We have joined other groups who are helping the restaurant industry find many environmentally friendly products.
To better understand the effects of waste restaurants produce, we looked at the life cycle of plastic.
Plastic has a life cycle, like a regular animal. Now let us tell you the story of the 3 water balls. All three water balls starts the same. It begins as oil and gas. Chemicals are being bonded with the oil to form long monomers to polymers. Then they were turned to plastic pellets, plus melted down to make plastic shapes by molding.
The first bottle, like many other bottles, gets consumed and thrown away and transported to the dump, compressing other trash and being compressed by other trash.
Then rain comes in and take all the water-soluble chemicals, some which are even toxic. Eventually, these chemicals end up in our water, killing animals and potentially giving us cancer and harming our wildlife.
Bottle number 2 gets dumped into the ocean where birds and other sea creatures mistake it as food. They feel full when they aren't and starve to death. The small fish are eaten by larger fish.
which we end up eating.
Therefore, we end up with the toxins in our body too.
Bottle number 3 gets recycled and turned into a new bottle, and other plastics items like string, clothing, bags, etc. This is the option sparing it from the other two. We looked into the products that currently exist on the market to help us learn about the best options. Before doing so, we asked customers to tell us about their experiences and ideas about takeout restaurants and pollution. According to the survey, a majority of people get up to 2 beverages a week.
According to our survey, 90% of people would pay for grain products depending on the price.
As long as the price is less than 25 cents, then 95% of people will buy green products. This was a great starting point in helping us find our solutions for takeout restaurant straws and lids. Our first product is the Eco Products straws. They're made of plants, can tolerate temperatures of 150 degrees Fahrenheit. It's flammable, 100% renewable, and only priced at 2 cents.
Our second product is the Green Munch Cold Straws. Made of 100% renewable resources, comes in various different colors, and also comes in 4.5, 6, and 7.5 inches in sizes. It's compostable, it has a heat tolerance of about 140 degrees Fahrenheit, it is non-toxic, it's biodegradable, flammable, and only 7 cents.
Our third product is the foldable stainless steel straws by LXYCZ. It comes in only gray, metal on the outside, it's foldable of course like in the name, it's stainless, BPA free, and it's $10.49.
Our next product is the Eco Choice White Paper Straws. It's made of 100% renewable resources. It's definitely white, of course. It's made from paper. Compostable, heat tolerance of 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Non-toxic, biodegradable, flammable, not microwavable, and it's only 2 cents.
Our next product is the Eco Product, the Cold Lids. It's made from 100% renewable resources. It's white, it's round, compostable, non-toxic, biodegradable, flammable, and it's 9 cents.
And our final product is the Eco Products Hot Lids. It's made of 100% renewable resources, it's white and round, compostable, and it has a heat tolerance of 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It is non-toxic, flammable, and it's only 9 cents.
Nous faisons moins les plastiques dans l'océan.
Les plastiques dans l'océan tuent les animaux marins.
Les plastiques dans l'océan font le plus mal.
Quand vous jetez les plastiques, c'est jeté dans un tas de débris dans l'océan.
Quand plastique est déplacé à déverser, il peut sauter de le camion et propager dans l'égout ou océan.
Arrêtez en utiliser la paille plastique.
Quand tu achètes nourriture, s'il vous plaît, utilisez des sacs réutilisables.
Achetez des choses que vous pouvez mettre à la poubelle verte.
Nous devons utiliser les plastiques car ils tuent, pas les plastiques car ils tuent des choses et rendent l'eau mal. Ne pas utiliser de plastique et mettre les plastiques dans la poubelle correcte.
In our opinion, the best products that we recommend is both Eco Products straws or Eco Choice. The Eco Products Hot Lids and the Eco Products Hot Lids. These are the best choices for island restaurants because they are the cheapest, environmentally friendly options on the market that do not require cutting down trees to make paper products. Although paper is more accessible, cutting down trees also impacts the environment in a negative way unless it is replenished with more trees. In conclusion, we have a potential solution to plastic pollution, a major problem for PEI's fishing industry and a problem destroying wildlife by one piece of plastic at a time. If we work together, we can save this dying planet.
All right, thank you very much, grade 6. Those were great presentations. There was a ton of great information all throughout. the statistics that you guys brought in and the ability that you guys had to bring your graphs and the information that you found through your surveys as a starting point for where your solutions would then come from was super helpful. And I think when we're looking at this, I know just from speaking to a lot of the teachers around the staff room and at different times, as you guys have been getting further and further into this project, you haven't even realized it, but as your teachers were teaching it, they've become much more aware of the products that they've been buying and the amount of plastics that they're consuming. And so if just through you guys learning about this, it's already affecting your teachers, I want you to realize that the things that you have, that you've found, that you've presented, the solutions that you've offered are real practical solutions that could actually be applied not just sort of in our own lives, but also throughout the industry of the island. So I want to thank you guys for doing that, and that was, it turned out really great, and we're proud of you guys, but at the exact same time, you need to be proud of yourself because you guys, what you accomplished today is something that you should be proud of because you found a real problem, but you've also offered real practical solutions that could be applied not just in your grade 6 classroom, but in the real world. And that's really what we want for your learning. So thank you very much. Thank you for those of you who have watched the presentations. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you for all of the opportunities that we've had from the community to really learn and grow and understand the problems and the mindset that you need as you deal with these problems.